Hello, friends, and welcome to the Pitchmark Collective, where stories are shared, legacies remembered, and the echoes of azaleas and iron shots linger in the air. I'm Teddy Lodger, and today we step inside the ropes to explore the heart of the game we love, the traditions, the triumphs, and the timeless pursuit of perfection. From Amen Corner to your corner of the world, this is Pitchmark Collective.
Holy shit. Are you serious? That was pretty good, Teddy.
That
Like,
was pretty good.
high
Thank you.
five.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate
Oh.
it.
Well, I mean, we're only a two-man band today, as you can see, but I mean, heck, we can replace Cam with the intros at this point. I mean,
We
I
got
don't
Jim
I
Nance on the team, dude.
yeah, I asked if you wanted to like rehearse it or try it a few times, and was that honestly the first time you've done that?
Yeah, it was the first time I've done that.
That was awesome. All
I
right.
well, that's why I don't do it, is so that Cam can still feel important,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Because I can do the intros, you can get this all set up and do the tech stuff, and also the outlines for each podcast. So I mean, really, what do we keep him around for?
I mean, he is in a pretty important place today. So Cam is I don't know, should we say like fulfilling a lifelong dream? I mean,
I think every golfing person's dream
yeah.
he's fulfilling this week.
So he flew out from Denver yesterday, where he lives, to Atlanta. And he is at Augusta today. Like as we speak, he probably still has a few hours there as we're recording, but he
Yeah,
is going to enjoy every open second of Augusta National today.
and he's got the GoPro with him, so we
Yeah.
should be able to get some decent footage of the property. Or it's just nothing but. I'd be interested to see like the raw footage that he collects because I have a feeling it's. Let's say he's there for 8 hours today. I got, I'd say 5 hours in the gift shop, maybe 2 hours going back and forth to the different concession stands, and then like an hour like walking around. So I really want to see that footage.
Yeah, I mean it'll be cool. So stay tuned. I'm sure we'll try and do something later in the week, but it'll be pretty fun to actually hear from Cam and like his experience, just of
Yeah.
like what he did this time and what he would potentially do the next time. Because everyone that I know that's attended, they go there with I mean, you kind of go there with just like closed eyes and you come out of there going, dang, if I had more
Hmm.
time, I would have spent this way. I would have gone this direction. I would have done this. I mean, one country club, I don't know, it's an Instagram account. It's a guy that coaches and he goes every year. And he basically said, if you're there on Sunday, one of the funnest things to follow is go behind the main group and walk a hole behind
Mm.
the last, because you're going to hear the roars, but you're going to be on the course by yourself.
Yeah, that's pretty
Like,
cool.
I was like, oh, that would be kind of like a ASMR
I
type thing.
Yeah, I think if I had been there so many times, then like yeah, that's probably the move.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, what would you do? Let's say gates open at what 7.
Yeah.
So for you, what does that day look like? Where are you going first? Are you posting up at a hole? Are you walking around? What are you doing?
Yeah. So for me, I'm gonna eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner there.
Yeah,
So
of
I'm
course.
definitely going to go get the Augusta coffee. And
Hmm.
that I think they do like a chicken biscuit. So I think that would be like the play.
Hmm.
And honestly, I think the first probably 30 minutes of being there, I just want to find a place to like just look at it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this like and I do that anyways when like I go to a new course. I just kind of like sit there. Like I went to Pinehurst number 2
Hmm.
and I sat out on that porch And I enjoyed every second of me sitting out there for 30 to 45 minutes, just like watching people play golf and just like looking at the grass and stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
from there, I think I'm going to the merch tent early. I've heard like you can alt if you wait too long. So, I mean, do I go there before breakfast? It'd be kind of tough. And then I'm probably walking the entire course. Like
Yeah.
I think I have to walk, and I don't think I'm one of the people that can actually post up and just like stay at one location,
Mhm.
especially the first time you go there. I don't know. Like, would you go to Amen Corner and like just sit there?
I think for me, I'm saving the gift shop for the end because I don't want to carry all the stuff around.
Valid.
I feel like they have the whole system down pat to where like they're not selling out of like most items. I feel like
Okay.
they have such a crazy backlog of everything um, that they have it all. The only things that they might sell out of are like some collectible items.
The
I don't really
gnome.
care. Like yeah, like the gnome or something. Like okay, fine. If I have to get that on eBay later on, I will. Um, but I'm getting your typical hat, polo, maybe quarter zip, whatever. That's about it. Maybe some cups and stuff, but like I can get that at the end and no big deal. I think for me, yeah, obviously I'm stocking up on some food, some bevies. I'm gonna do a lap. So if I'm getting there at 7, I'm gonna break it up into just like maybe two halves. I think first half of the morning, I'm gonna be walking around every single hole and just going through. It's not a quick walk, but it might be at a brisk pace, and I'm feeling all the ups and downs throughout the course. And then in the afternoon, after some more food and beverages, I'll probably post up. Depends on what day, because certain pin locations that would determine like where I want to post up at. Um, so yeah, I think it would just depend on where the pins are at. But yeah, I think somewhere around Amen Corner would be cool. 16 would be cool. Yeah, probably 16. I'd probably post up behind 16 if it was like Sunday. I just feel like there's so much drama that usually starts to happen at that hole, depending on like what the leaderboard looks like. And you could see some fireworks coming down the stretch on that hole. So I'd probably post up as close as possible to that green.
Yeah. It there's so many different ways to do it, but that's also the coolest thing about it. Like every way is perfect. I mean,
Yeah, I mean it's whatever you want to do.
yeah. I mean, obviously we started this out with a solid intro from Teddy. I'm still pretty amazed by this. It is the greatest week of the year, I think some of us would say. Um, you know,
Yeah,
during the open, it probably fights for it because it's on in the mornings and stuff like that. But I'm pretty sure during the Masters, the week starts on Monday with watching live from the Masters and things like that. Now, not to be overshadowed, we did have a tournament last week. So we'll have to kind of get into
if you could call it that. Yeah,
that. So, I mean, real quickly, we had the Valero. We made some picks. I mean, I watched some of it, but man, there was some serious carnage happening on that golf course. Um,
yeah, it was kind of tough to get into. Like I was watching on Saturday. I was watching on Saturday. Um, and once I saw like kind of what was going on with the leaderboard and like who was kind of in the hunt. Once I saw Brian Harmon had like what do you have, a 3-shot lead or something?
yeah,
Um, I kind of tuned out after that. I was like, yeah, this is going to be one of those. It's going to be windy. Guys are struggling. I'm just going to see this. No offense, but I'm going to see this lefty just kind of scrape it around. Um, what did he shoot? One over on Saturday or even? But yeah, I'm just going to see him scrape it around, maybe make a couple putts, and it's going to be extremely boring. And that's what happened.
yeah. I mean, there was some excitement from Novak and Gerard in there. But yeah, I mean, he went. round one 66, 66, 72, and then went 3 over for 75. I mean it, but he was the one who came out on top, right? I mean,
That's all that matters.
I know a lot of people. I'm sure a lot of people like yourself were like, I'm not watching Harman on the leaderboard. That's pretty public at this point. People don't like to see the waggle. I will say, I mean, I'm a fan because dude's like 5'7", 130
I,
pounds.
I don't
It's
even like. I've seen about the players, and like I don't even think he's 5'7", dude. Like he's a
I
little guy.
I just have so much respect for someone that like small stature but can play on the PGA Tour at an elite level. I mean, no one's going to argue that he is an elite golfer. But the waggle thing I know has gotten to people, and I will say I think it's gotten a hell of a lot better
Yeah,
because I watched a fair amount. My daughter and I were watching it on Sunday, and it was just like, oh yeah, that's not 30 waggles, which good or bad, it was only like 10, you know? So
that's progress. There's
yeah,
progress.
I mean, I thought it was kind of cool. We had a few names show up on the leaderboard that were, I mean, I think they're becoming more well known at this point. Maverick McNeely, one of your favorites, that comes up in conversations quite often.
Friend of the
Um,
pod. Well, after the first day, like I thought it was going to be kind of interesting. Berger was up there. Keith Mitchell was up there. Obviously, Brian Harman was up there with Mav. Like it was you. It's obvious it's the week before the Masters, but there's some guys that are trying to win a tournament that you're at least familiar with. Um, but yeah, after Saturday, I mean, I don't know who Ryan Gerard is. Like Andrew Novak, I like him now after seeing the clip of him like picking his target line, and he's like, yeah, the fat guy. Like just gonna take it on the fat guy. So like, yeah, I like him. I'm gonna keep an eye on him going forward. Um, but I didn't really care either way, like who was gonna end up winning.
I mean, it was kind of interesting because you had Keith Mitchell, which, I mean, Cam had some nuggies on him going in to lead that
Yeah,
first round, and then Sam Ryder came in. But even Keith Mitchell kind of fell apart. I mean, I was actually pretty pumped about Patrick Cantlay, my pick for last week. At one point, he was
yeah, he
tied,
he was
and
yeah, he played good the first couple days.
I was like, hey, we got a shot here, and I had I think one under, and they were
Hmm.
projecting the cut at that point. So I was like, hell yeah! And my last place was Johnny Walker's or Jimmy Walker. So I was like, I was about to send you guys a text message with a broom. I was like, hell yeah, this is gonna work. And then all came crashing down with first being the cut at 2 under. So it went to you. And then after that, for whatever reason, Jimmy Walker decided to play golf on day 2, which I was super bummed about. And we fast forward to the weekend where it was like, especially Sunday,
Yeah.
because Patrick Cantlay was like, I think 3 or 4 ahead of Straight Vibin,
Hmm.
and just decided to explode. And I
Yeah.
was like, I was I was so confused. I got done playing golf and I was like, uh, where did he go? What wait, why is Daniel Berger ahead on this? So I was kind of bummed about that. But what 30 they were talking about like 30, 35 mile an hour winds going on, and
I mean, Justin, we played at 35-mile-an-hour winds before at Mission Inn. If we can do it, these guys should be able to do it.
yeah, I don't know if we played at like 70, what was it, 7,600 yards.
No, it was like 71, but also
Yeah,
like their 75, 7,600 yards is like our like 7,200 yard courses. So it's like
valid.
it's
What
not
what
that
did
much.
uh what did you actually think of the course though?
It looked fine.
So
Yeah, I mean,
we've
it's not
looked at
like
the
my
course,
favorite, but it's fine. It's a PGA Tour venue, I think.
the TPC. We've looked at it a few times because it's a JW Marriott,
Hmm.
and they have like 120-acre water park there. So like seeing it on TV, I was like, damn, that place is massive.
honestly, missing the cut probably wouldn't be that bad if you're
Yeah.
there with your family and then just spending the weekend by the pool. If you're in the field for Augusta, it's like, whatever. Let me just reset, relax, do some swimming, let the kids play, and then head on over to Augusta.
Yeah, you're halfway there already. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there. So what do we think about? I mean, the wind I think changes it. It was kind of a tough course how they set it up, etc. I mean, we've got some pretty poor performances, I would say, coming in out of this weekend of the Masters. Hideki, I mean, missed
Hmm.
the cut. Ludwig, I mean, he is all over Masters everything right now. Everyone that's making picks is throwing Ludwig's name out there. He's on Golf Digest this month as the Masters. I mean, everyone's for Ludwig, but he's had a rough year. I mean, it started out with the sickness, obviously, and hasn't really snapped back
Yeah,
from it.
I think for some of these guys, it just seems, especially this week or this past week at the Valero, guys are struggling putting together 4 solid rounds, which I think is pretty evident. Just scrolling up and down the leaderboard, like you see some good scores, and then a couple over on 1 or 2 of the days of the weekend. It's interesting though because from what I saw when watching, like there were some tough pin placements, and the way they set it up, it was really good trying to make the players play smart with some of the slopes around some of those pins. And I mean, I thought it was pretty good practice for what some of these guys are going to see this week. And you really saw the struggle. So I think taking that into account with how the guys played this past week, with what they're going to do this week, I think you have to take that into consideration. I don't think you can just chalk it up as lack of focus because of the Masters coming up. I think the reason they played was to try to get some tournament pressure and some decent prep work going into this week, and it didn't work out for most of them.
Yeah, I mean, Hideki, Ludwig, and Akshay. I mean, Cam picked out Akshay last week. Obviously, he missed the cut. So,
Yeah, it was not good.
I mean, going into the Masters, let's do Ted's little crystal ball. You think we're seeing either three of those top 10 next week or this week?
Who was it? Ludwig,
Ludwig,
actually, and
Hideki, and Akshay.
oh,
Yeah.
Hideki. I mean, of the three, I think you'd have to take Hideki. Hideki's been like hot and cold this year. Um,
Yep.
when he won, it was kind of like he was kind of struggling. And then he rattled off like a few top fives, I think, and then kind of back into obscurity. He's won at Augusta before. I think if you've won there, it's pretty easy to kind of get back in that zone, and see the shots that you need to hit. He's familiar with the place. He's played there. How old is he? He's played there since he was like 19.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's put in a bunch of rounds out there. I think he's comfortable. I think of the three, he's got the best chance. I don't know if I would say he's a top 10 lock. But of the guys from this week, I think he's probably up there.
Yeah. So, going in the opposite side of this, is it good leading into Augusta for Harman, Spieth, Kuchar?
Yeah, I think Kuchar's kind of surprising, right? Am I
I
alone in that?
I didn't think we would see, something good happen out of that, but
Yeah.
yeah, he actually had a pretty solid week. Earlier in the week, he was actually up in the leaderboard. Obviously, fell down a little bit, but still, I mean, it's a bigger name.
Um, I think everybody's kind of different. Like, when you're hitting range balls, like just a warm up bucket, or even maybe like you get there an hour early, you're going to hit like a large bucket before you go play. Some guys, like, it's nice if they're striping it and they feel good when they get on the first tee. Other guys, I don't know about you. For me, the worse I hit it on the range, the better I'll play, once I get onto the course. So, like, maybe some of these guys, like, it's almost you're getting it out of your system, right? You're hitting the bad shots. You're learning from that, and you're taking that going forward into the next week's tournament. Maybe that's how some of these guys are going to react.
I mean,
It's kind of tough. It's Augusta, right? Like the whole aura behind the tournament also plays a factor with like your mental going into it. So I don't know. I'd be shitting my pants. But that's just me.
I mean, we do have. I mean, Harmon winning this. I mean, is it just proof that he plays good?
He plays
nasty weather.
Yeah, I mean, it's same thing. Before we started recording, you and I were talking about Russell Henley. Like Russell Henley, if there's rain in the forecast or like heavy winds, like yeah, you might want to throw a couple bucks on Russell Henley winning the tournament because every tournament he's won, that's what happens. Except for the Arnold Palmer, although it was kind of windy, I guess, but that was the best conditions. Yeah, that was the best conditions that he's won in. Yeah, I think Brian Harmon, like, he plays his game, right? Like he never is going to try to do anything different. This week he just played solid golf, and that was the difference between winning and losing this tournament, was just not blowing up. Yeah, he shot 1 over on Sunday, but he didn't really need to do anything other than shoot even par. I think that was probably the goal.
Yeah. I mean, he plays good at Augusta too. There's been, I think the last 2 out of 4 years, he's been up there on the leaderboard. The last 3 years I've done like this pick'em group, and I always end up grabbing him. Last year it didn't pan out. He had a pretty rough year last year, but last few years when there's like some shitty weather in there, it seems like he's playing really well.
And I mean, the course is going to be a little wet, right? They got some heavy rain Sunday. They got some rain on Monday. So yeah, it's going to be plush. It's not going to be as firm as usual. So I think just having that spin control and that feel for your distance control as well, which for somebody like him that's not going to hit the ball a mile, like what you need to do to hit a shot 162 yards.
Yeah, with him in wet conditions, what I worry about, and granted, are they going to actually be that wet? Because I mean, isn't Augusta fully like sub air? So
yeah, like it's not going to be a sopping mess, but it's not going to be firm and rolling out 40 yards off the tee.
That's exactly what I worry about with someone like Harmon, because like I was like, man, do you just roll with him to have a good week after winning? Because he's kind of that guy. He gets streaky. But it's like he's not going to be able to keep up with some of the guys, not even like long bombers, but just the normal guys hitting at 310.
Yeah,
so now I think instead of having a 6-iron in, he's got a hybrid or something in.
Yeah, but those guys, like, he's as good with his hybrid as other guys are with their 6-iron. You know what I mean? So I think it plays into his strength more than it hurts him. It being just a little bit wetter than usual, and playing some good golf right now. He had that new putter though, and
center shaft to TaylorMade.
Yeah, so like it's tough. Like I mean, I'm a reformed club hoe, but get a new putter. First round, lights out. Best decision I ever made. Second round, what the hell was I thinking getting this putter? This is awful. So so who knows, how long that honeymoon phase is going to last for. If he can keep it up and putt well, you should expect to see him on the leaderboard going into the weekend.
Yeah. So speaking of like seeing people on the leaderboard, we had another golf event happening, which we're not paying attention too much to live. I have no idea when, if, or even when golf will actually get back together, nor do I actually, honestly, I don't care.
At this point, I don't care. It's been long enough.
But I did pay attention, and I just looked at the leaderboard because they were in Miami. Obviously, they had like their version of the Creator Classic, which I still have yet to watch. I've got a trip coming up on Thursday, so I'm going to watch it on the plane.
Okay.
But
I won't spoil it.
No, I've heard like what it was, and I heard it was kind of cool.
It was
some misses.
Yeah, like it was weird because like you're so used to watching these YouTube formats, and they like everybody the way they edit, and it's also interesting because it was on Grant's channel. I kind of expected it to be pretty similar to like how the rest of his videos are.
How
And
Grant
production,
edits.
yeah, and like production wise, it was good. It was good for the most part, but it was just odd. Like some of the moments that they chose uh to like to keep the recording or the snippet in, like they would skip some shots that you would expect to actually watch, and they would kind of like keep the same shot for sometimes like on the tour when you're watching a tournament, like you you see somebody set up and then back away, change a club, then set up, maybe a few waggles, maybe a practice swing, and then they hit. It's like, okay, we didn't need to see this whole thing if nothing was said or there was no other interaction. Like it served no purpose. And there were quite a few moments during this where it was like you can't show anything else. Nothing else is going on between all of these guys at this moment. Like, come on. So that was a little disappointing. But to be fair, I watched that and didn't watch any of Live Miami. So
Well, I mean, they probably have more views on that than they actually do their broadcast of the actual tournament.
I would have, yeah. I think the broadcast numbers for the tournament were like 100. I'll be generous and say 150,000. I don't think it was quite that much, but I think it was like close to it. Whereas like the the YouTube one, I mean, I'll pull it up to confirm, but
Like
I would
1.3
imagine
million.
it's yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, there's some names that will obviously be in the Masters this year. We had Sergio coming in at third. Sergio is actually playing some of the best golf that he's played in years.
Yeah.
Kind of cool to watch. I kind of liked watching the fieriness out of Sergio. You had Bryson in fifth. I mean, last year Cam took him as like first round leader, won some money
Yeah.
off of that. I mean, does Bryson do it again? He seems to have a knack for the Masters, or Augusta.
Well, it's a par 67 for him. So
Yeah, gotta relive that comment over and over again. We got Phil coming in six. Kind of cool to see him playing some better golf. This whole partnership with Grant has probably been one of the better things for him. So he's playing better golf. We got Reed in seventh, and I mean, man, John Rahm is the king of consistency. Like whether it's a good field or not, he has had a top 10 in almost every tournament he has entered in live. It is interesting. Now, does that actually translate to 4 rounds
no.
at Augusta?
No,
I don't know.
it doesn't.
Enough for that. And then you've got other guys like Brooks. Brooks is just, I mean, pooping it down his leg. He was +4 and an 18th, and DJ was +7 for the weekend at 27th. So
I think for those last couple of guys though, like it's not. You have to take it with a grain of salt, like what their actual finishes are in the live events versus some of the majors. Just because, like for Brooks, right? Like, are you really gonna count on him missing the cut through 2 rounds at Augusta? No, or any of the other majors. Like he's a self-proclaimed major championship hunter. So you got to expect that he's just gonna whatever sort of state his game is in leading into it. That's what he's gonna roll with, and he's just gonna try to figure it out.
I mean, he's got the mental side to it.
Yeah.
I think the one person on here, like of their top players, like DJ, I don't like even. I'm like, DJ's not even making the cut. DJ is so far off the golf planet, it's not even funny.
If he does, cool. That's a talking point for Liv. If he doesn't, nothing changes in everybody else's lives. Like he's just been a non-factor for several years now.
Yeah. And you also like I'm trying to find, but oh, here it is. Joaquin Niemann.
Yeah.
Phil said he's winning. Did he say he's winning the Masters this year?
I don't know if he said the Masters specifically or if he just said like, didn't he say like 2 or 3 majors or something?
Something like, I mean, Phil.
I feel like he said that.
Phil doing Phil things and saying things, but I mean, he was +9 in Doral. he's played so well. I mean,
Mhm.
I think he's won 2 live tournaments, but again, like, is that going to actually translate? And are we going to see something? I mean, for you, and this is just off the cuff, out of the live players playing the Masters, who would you potentially put money on
I think,
for a win? Not top 10, but like, who
yeah,
do you think could
just a
make a run
win.
at a win?
I mean, I think I'd probably go with Bryson, um, just because winning at Pinehurst. Um, I think his game translates extremely well to Augusta. Um, yeah, I would just pick him out of everybody else. I'd throw money on him before anybody else on that list. What
Yeah,
about you?
I'm throwing money on probably Rom, and then
Yeah, I was between him and Bryson.
I was thinking like Sergio would be my second one. I don't know. Sergio, for some reason, I think he's got history here and he's played well quite a few times. And if he's actually swinging really well, then maybe
Hmm.
it's cool to see like a resurgence from him. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if every single live player except for Rom doesn't miss the cut or misses the cut.
Yeah,
You know, like
or that first year when they had like three guys in the top 10, right? Something like that.
they
Like,
have like Brooks, they had Phil, they had,
yeah,
or
they showed out that first year, and then it was all like, see, it doesn't matter. It's like, okay, well, they're
yeah,
like 6 months removed from the tour. Like, it's not.
yeah, they were pretty much playing the PGA Tour and still the
Yeah.
schedules, and they didn't get their big payout yet. So, well, so speaking of golf, and we've obviously gone through Valero, Live, but this is going to be all about the Masters. Um, we're talking about players right now, so maybe we keep that going. And this is one thing that I was going to kind of go into. I mean, what shots do you actually need to hit at Augusta?
Yeah, I think it's probably changed over the last like 20 years. I feel like previously it was, or probably longer than 20. I feel like before 97 when Tiger won it and just overpowered the course, I feel like it was just putting. Putting was super important. Just the way those greens are and some of the undulations and the placements. There were only so many different holes and locations that you could actually flag hunt. Um, I think that kind of changed once they started lengthening the course. Then it was more, hit the ball in the fairway, get it down there, and just try to hit the greens. Just keep the ball on the greens. You can get out with a two putt, great. But I think we're kind of starting to go back into where the putting is probably the biggest factor, in my opinion. When you look at the guys who have been winning it, they're having phenomenal weeks with the putter, and I think that's going to be the key factor again this week. You're the data guy. You showed me a spreadsheet for your pick. Did you go into putting stats at Augusta?
I I didn't. I kind of nerded out on it. I didn't go full like
Mm,
nerd. Just
tomorrow
and
you
it,
can.
and the reason for it is like I'm so far behind on picks. I was like, there's got to be something better than just my horrible gut feeling of who's actually going to play. So I actually went into ChatGPT and I
Hmm.
said, what are the stats to look at for the winner of Augusta? And they basically gave me, I think this is 7 different stats to look at. It was driving accuracy,
Hmm.
greens in regulation, strokes gained for approach, putting, off the tee, and then the last two, which I thought were kind of interesting, were scrambling and bogey avoidance. Which
Yeah,
I mean, it's no like aha
I mean
moment. Like
that's
all
every
those,
tournament, right?
yeah. That it's not like it's like, oh my gosh, I've never even thought about that. But
What
I mean,
you're
there's
telling me if I don't make any bogeys this week,
yeah,
I
yeah.
have a chance.
Well, so bogey avoidance was actually pretty interesting. Top player is Scotty, and then
Makes
we've
sense.
got our friend of the pod, Michael Kim, which he's
Shouts
playing
out
this week.
Michael Kim.
Yeah, he's playing this week in the Masters. And then Colin Morikawa kind of adds up, right? We've got some notables under Sepp Straka, Rory, Bobby Mack, and then who you said earlier, Russell Henley. The other one that I thought was interesting was scrambling. And it goes Hideki, Scotty, Rory, 1, 2, 3. So, I mean, that you got two of the best players. Well, gosh, what I'd say the top 5 out of the top 5, you got 3 of them right there. Notable was Lowry, which I could see that. Then you got Michael Kim, so friend of the pod, being thrown up there for scrambling. The other one that I mean, driving accuracy, we all know Colin, Aaron Rice, Sepp Straka, throwing Russell Henley again. Greens in regulation is very similar to driving accuracy in some sense, but you've got Sepp Straka, Russell Henley, Taylor Pendrith, and then it goes Bobby Mack, Cantlay, Morikawa. Kind of makes sense, but that throws a name out there, Bobby Mack. I mean, he could be a good player for the Masters this week.
Yeah, I think lefties. I think the course suits lefties off the tee. I think it suits their eye pretty well on some of those holes. So that's not surprising.
Everything but hole 1.
Yeah.
1, unless you can hit a big draw.
Yeah.
Then like kind of what you mentioned was strokes gained putting. There are some names on here that I thought were interesting. Nico Echevarria.
Okay.
Cool. He's going to be playing. Your boy Sam Burns. He's let you down many times, but
Yeah, I'm not picking.
He was strokes gained putting, and then we've got the chef on there, Minwoo Lee. And then it goes notable for Akshay, Rory. Random as all hell to me was Zach Johnson. And then another mention of Russell Henley.
Oh, that's surprising. Okay. Well, so after looking at all those and kind of on a whole thinking of, all the tournaments so far this year, thinking of Augusta, I mean, what do you think is the most important facet of someone's game this week?
I'm going with like approach, like greens in regulation. Like your shot in, and sorry, I said approach, but your shot into the green, like if you can hit every green in regulation, you're giving yourself a shot on every hole. Now, you are right about the putting thing. I mean, Augusta is notoriously hard for putting, and everyone says that's why Rory, he's a good putter, but he's never going to win because he can't putt it.
He's a great putter. He's just streaky. There's a difference between being a bad putter and being streaky. Scheffler is streaky. He also he's hitting his approach shots to distances that appear super close and you should make, but percentage wise, you're not making every 8 to 10 footer that you're looking at. Some weeks he does, and he wins.
You get to that. You get to all those golfers. It's whoever's on a hot streak with the putting.
Exactly.
I don't know. I think because typically at the Masters, the rough isn't as penalizing, right? You don't. You're not getting crushed like you are at a U.S. Open. So
it's not the rough. I think it's the surrounding pine trees.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you get, for the most part, it's not like it's right off the fairway, but 5 yards into the rough, now you're going to start getting into some pine trees or some overhanging branches. And so, yeah, if you're not hitting the fairway, like you're probably going to have to move the ball pretty well.
Yeah. I just think if you get it on the green, you're going to be there. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see, like, out of all those guys, I kind of added some of these up. I saw Colin, Sepp, and Henley. Those were the top 3. And then I went into, okay, who are what have they done in the last few years? And it's kind of interesting to see, like, Colin is actually wildly consistent when it comes to Augusta. Sepp is, I mean, he's gotten progressively better because he wasn't there in 21, but tied for 30th tied for 46, tied for 16th. Henley is kind of tied for 30th, 4th, tied for 38th. And then I threw one in there just because like I have a soft spot for Shane Lowry, and
Mhm.
I really, really love the Srixon drops for the Masters. I think the bags they do and like all the little things
Yeah.
are so classy. But tied for 21st, 30th, 16th, and 43rd. So he's there. So it'll be interesting to see who can actually like play Augusta this week on
Mhm.
maybe a softer course. And they should have pretty good weather. It's supposed to be 60 to 70 degrees and like 5 to 10 mile an hour winds.
Yeah, there's the rain was it was just a slight cold front that was coming through. So like it's beautiful out, slight
Yeah.
breeze, sun's out, it's not too hot. It's gonna be nice.
Yeah, I mean, people aren't going to be just sweating their arses off trying to
Nah.
walk that course, overheating. Now, here's
Well,
a
Cam might,
Cam's going to go through a few shirts, but
but your
hey,
your typical patron should have no problem.
now I throw this out there, and I would actually this will be funny when Cam listens to it. We obviously have one player that everyone's bummed about that he's probably not there for sentimental reasons. Is it better or worse for the Masters for Tiger Woods to be sitting out?
I think personally, I think it's worse, but it's not going to keep somebody from watching or tuning in. Um, I think it's worse that he's not there mainly because of like everybody that is like a fan of the game like has seen him win this tournament and especially from like 2019. So like it's just there's just something about the excitement of seeing him tee it up no matter the state of his game. It's like you just kind of talk yourself into like, is there a chance this week? Like, could it happen again? So it's nice having him there and being a part of it. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna say it's better. It could be a distraction for others, but like it, I'm watching for myself. I'm not watching for somebody else. So like, if it brings me more joy that Tiger's there, then like yeah, I'm gonna go for it.
And I guess this might be a hot take. I think it's better that he's not there this year. I know everyone's gonna just rip me alive for it, because I want to see him, but I also like I want to see Tiger at the Masters when he's like fully capable, and
Mhm.
we're getting to the point where he's not fully capable. And watching him like, and don't get me wrong, I enjoy it. I love seeing him tee off. I what's one of the players that you're going to put in your favorites on the PGA Tour app so you can see where they sit? It's always going to be Tiger Woods, but I also think to some extent it's so distracting
Mhm.
where I'm like, oh gosh, like I want to remember him in 2019. Can we just go back to that point?
Yeah, that's
I know it's a hot take. I get it. Tim, I know you're listening to this and
I
you're
don't
going to
I
send
don't
me
think you're alone. I think there's a pretty decent crowd that kind of wants him to just not even attempt to tee it up anymore and just move on. So I don't think you're going to get that much pushback. But yeah, I mean, it of course it's distracting. It's Tiger freaking
Tiger
Woods.
Woods, like the greatest golfer of all time. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
you're
know.
going to say he's not going to have a massive following when he's playing?
Yeah, true. Yeah. I mean, and I guess if you were there, like, say we get tickets to next year, right? We were talking about like how are you going to start out your day and stuff, and Tiger Woods is playing, but obviously all the injuries are adding up. Are you spending any of your time following him?
So I followed him at Bay Hill. This was probably 2016, 2017, somewhere around there. Maybe 2018. And I I followed him for 4 or 5 holes. Like he was the only one that I really followed. Um, After I followed him for a few holes, then I went posted up somewhere on the back nine, and then watched him come through. But I'm not, there's just so many people that are attempting to follow him and to watch him that it's not worth it unless you're, a couple holes ahead and you're right up against the rope and can kind of like be there up close and personal. But if you're going to be 10 people deep all day, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I mean that's what Rory's going through right now.
Yeah.
But in Tiger, you look at some of those crowds back in the day, it was
Insane.
worse. So
Insane. And then people complain about like, oh, everybody's just throwing their phone up and stuff. It's like, well, yeah, they probably can't even see.
yeah,
So they're hoping to film it and then see actually what happened because there's 30 people in front of them.
so I mean we talk about Tiger a little bit, and I think this is probably a good because I had asked you and Cam. I said, okay, what was like the first Masters memory that you can think of? Because I think the Masters, like, it's a special tournament. It's the first major of the year, and it holds like such. I mean, it's a tradition like no other, right? Like it
Right.
holds so many different things for different people. But I always think it's interesting, like what like you mentioned Tiger. I know yours is related to Tiger to some extent, but like, what was your first Masters that you remember where it was like it sat in and it was like real, not just like, oh, it's golf.
Yeah, I think for me, so I was 32 now. So I was born in 92. Um, I think for me, like the 2001 Masters was like the first one that I think I just recently kind of like started to really enjoy the game. Um, and that one just felt different. That was when so Tiger he just completed the Tiger Slam by winning the Masters that week, which is a whole nother thing. Like, why is it not a Grand Slam? Whatever, it's not in the same calendar year,
Calendar
but like,
year. Yeah.
whatever. He's holding all four trophies. But
Which, by the
watching,
way, is like the only player to complete it in 59 years.
right, yeah. So, but
So,
it doesn't count, Justin.
yeah.
But yeah, I think that was probably the first one that like I kind of watched a majority of and kind of understood what was happening and what was going on. Um, and yeah, it was kind of a duel between him and Duval. So that was kind of cool. And just kind of like starting to kind of understand like the gravity of the situation when it comes to major championships in professional golf.
Nice. I think a lot of people, like especially listeners, there's gonna be something around there with Tiger, and I mean,
Yeah.
I
And he was the most popular player. Like,
Cam threw his out there. His was 2005. So he even remembers watching it at his grandfather's house. Like he wrote this little thing, and like there's some pretty cool memories he's got, like Tiger
yeah,
Sunday Red with his black Nike app, which obviously we all remember those things, but for him that like really touched him. So 2005 was his big year. And also like that was the year that the White Sox won the World Series. So I mean, Cam
oh,
being from Chicago, obviously that was like a big year for him. Um, for me, I go like because there was like 20 years in there where I didn't watch golf. So like I mean, obviously I paid attention to it and I heard about Tiger winning and stuff like that, but I was a little bit removed. And also being I guess a few years older, like 1995. That was the year. I mean, I remember Ben Crenshaw teeing it up, and the whole story was about Harvey Penick and like passing,
mhm.
and him just being like, "I gotta play for my coach." Um, Obviously, like Blade putter, and I've always paid
Yeah.
attention to it. I mean, like I loved watching Phil Mickelson with a Blade putter, and so
It's
there's
just
just like
sick.
relations
It's
there.
just sick to watch somebody use that putter and like putt well because
Yeah,
like you just know they're stick.
yeah, and I don't know, like the ugly shirts and all that stuff. I mean, you
Yeah.
remember like Freddie walking down with the big
Yeah.
Ashworth shirts and the, down to your elbows for the
3/4 sleeve polos.
Pretty much, yeah. And I don't know, just for whatever reason, that's the first one that I remember where I was like, yeah, I was paying attention. I watched him. I watched that final putt go in, and I remember just seeing him ball because
Yeah. How
he had
old was
just
he? He was
he
he
was
40
older
something?
that year. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have to look that up of
It
like
was
how.
towards the end
Yeah,
of his
his
playing career.
yeah, his career was almost there, but yeah, I don't know. That was the first year I can remember where it was like, yep, this is the Masters, and this is
Yeah.
one of the coolest things.
It's a special place and special moments. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're getting to that time. We've talked about some pretty cool things. We're gonna end this with, I think, some like fun questions that we kind of asked each other of this. But I want to get to picks. I think picks are gonna be a big deal. Teddy, you are absolutely destroying me, and you are beating Cam. I'm calling it a comeback. I'm gonna try and come up with something. Cam's obviously not here, so we are going to. I'm guessing Cam is picking Rory or Jordan,
We're
and
yeah, one of those two we're pretty sure, but not 100%. So we're going to act as if he's picking one of those two guys.
yep. So
Uh,
Ted, you get to go first.
yeah, I'll go ahead and pick, dude. I'm taking Scotty Scheffler. I think he's been playing better the last few tournaments. I don't think you can really pick against him at this moment. So it just seems like the safe bet. Um, and do I want to see somebody else? Like, I'm in the group that would like to see Rory win. Um, I, I think it's a good story. But it's tough to pick against Scotty motherfucking Scheffler.
It. I mean, I don't know how you can't pick him. I mean, he's obviously got a phenomenal track record. He's also trending. I mean, he's
Yeah,
been playing
that's
better
what
and better.
he's playing well every week. Like there's progression. He's putting well. It's Augusta.
Yeah.
Like, give me Scheffler.
I was listening to Masters Radio today on XM, and he was in the media, and one of the things he said, yeah, if I could do anything, I mean, for Masters dinner, I would just have everyone cut my food up for me so I don't have to deal with knives.
Yeah,
I thought it was absolutely hilarious. I mean, he does have some sense of humor when he decides to throw something out there.
he's a big goofy guy. He's just a goofy nice guy. Like there's no like ulterior motive behind it. Like there's no like secret. Like it's just he's a nice God fearing man who likes to play golf and enjoys his family.
Absolutely. So I'm going with the data piece that I talked about earlier. So I can't go away from Colin. Like I have to have a top
Yeah.
10 this week, and I got to be in the fight. So we're going with the person that I think will hopefully be in there. Um, I don't know. I Out of those guys, like I said, I'd love to see Shane Lowry. I think it'd be super fun to see him come into play. Um, Sep, I think Sep's got everything as long as his putter's working, and that's the only thing
Yeah, he
he's a
can
very
struggle. Yeah, he can struggle. I think Lowry would be exciting. It wouldn't be shocking at the end of the day on Sunday if he was the one wearing the jacket.
yeah.
But it also wouldn't be shocking that he shot, 4 over both days and misses the cut. So
That's kind of what I was going back and forth. Is I was like, my heart says Shane Lowry because I want to see him like raise a pint of Guinness and just be pumped.
yeah,
But instead, I'm gonna hopefully watch Colin Morikawa eat some avocado toast and hoist the green
do you think
jacket.
that's what he would have on the menu for the appetizer next year for the Champions Dinner? Some like weird, like he'd have avocado toast.
Yeah, I mean
I don't know.
he's a California kid, and I know he
Yeah,
kind of like sits out there on some views of things, and I don't know. He had his dog walking around. They've got pictures of him walking around with his dog. His dog's got shoes on and stuff like that. So I don't know.
amazing.
It I mean that does, I guess we can pause it for a minute, but Oh no, we'll do DFL and we'll do cut, and then you can think
Well,
about like what would your dinner actually be at the Masters? That's what I want to ask
we
you next.
we could do. Well, let's save cut in DFL for tomorrow. We'll post those picks. Let's wait for Cam on those that way, because like we're gonna screw them
Yeah.
if we get those without him. So yeah, I'm fine to just go into some Masters questions.
Yeah, let's go with that. Like speaking of like if Colin wins, what would his dinner be? What would your dinner look like? I mean, it's kind of you got to add some things to this, right? Cuz you got to have an entree,
Yeah, it's tough.
got to have an appetizer.
They because of the crowd, like you can't go wrong with steak and potatoes. But like at the same time, like y we could eat steak and potatoes tonight if we want. Like it's not a huge deal. Uh, Me personally, I would like to take some chances. Like Hideki's dinner looked
Hideki's look delicious.
amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
Um, I honestly, I would just copy his. But I wouldn't mind doing some sort of like fish main course, just something fancy. Give me all the different ingredients. Um, and for just, I think specifically, the only thing I would really want to like make sure that I would want to be a part of my menu is stuffed mushrooms. I
Ooh,
love stuffed mushrooms. Like I love them. So having that in some sort of capacity as the appetizer, and then for dessert, like I love ice cream and I love milkshakes. So like just give me milkshakes. I
are
don't
you
care.
a vanilla chocolate or do you go out there on an limb and go for like strawberry and banana stuff like
No,
that?
I typically am going to stick to some sort of chocolate or coffee. But like we're having milkshakes, we're having some different toppings and ice cream. Whatever you want as a milkshake, you pick. I'm
Okay.
going to do some sort of chocolate and peanut butter mixture, and then the guys they can throw whatever they want into the blender and have their own. But yeah, stuffed mushrooms and milkshakes to be the bookends. That's what I'm rolling with.
All right. I can appreciate that. I like I did put some thought into this. Not as much on the dessert as you did. But I'm going with it's kind of a mix of I think what Hideki had and what Scotty's had, and then a mix of like maybe a little Adam Scott, etc. Um,
What
but I
was
want to go
Adam Scott's?
I
I don't
want to
remember.
go sushi. Oh, his
Yeah,
desserts were really good. But I want to go sushi with like I mean I like the idea of having sashimi and nigiri and then have a
yeah.
couple rolls there. Like I think that's awesome. But I'm gonna keep like some of the theme and I'm gonna go um steak. I really dislike wagyu, so I wouldn't do that at all. Like just give me a
Yeah,
T-bone.
you're trying too hard at that point, right? Like just like there's nothing wrong with a good ribeye or fillet, like depending
I
on what's
I
like. There's nothing wrong with it.
I love it. And I've got to add. I was trying to think of where I would add this, but I think it's just like it's probably just part of the main course. I think you got to throw in like lobster mac and cheese.
Okay,
Like I
all
think
right. So
that would be
some steak and some lobster mac.
yeah.
You could do some sushi and stuff for your appetizer. I don't think that would be. It's not. I mean, it can be filling if you're eating several rolls, but 4 or 5 pieces, you're fine.
Yeah.
That'll get you going.
I mean, and that's kind of like Adam Scott had some New York strip and mixed with like
Yeah.
he had calamari and he had actually a salad and stuff like that. Now the this is gonna be weird, and I'm going like this is a 10,000 calorie dinner now that I'm thinking about it. But like I love bread pudding,
Oh, okay.
so I'd be like a bread pudding person for dessert.
Yeah. I enjoy bread pudding as well. I feel like guys get into like the cobbler, like it's pretty easy. You're in Georgia, you're gonna get peach
Ooh, like
cobbler and stuff.
a peach cobbler. Now, do you eat peach cobbler warm with ice cream on it?
Yes.
Or Okay, that's my jam. As long as it's like kind of melty on there, I love peach cobbler with like vanilla ice cream in it.
Ooh, you know what? I think I'm gonna change from a milkshake to Pizookie. Have you ever had a Pizookie? Do you know what
No,
that is?
I have no
It's a
idea.
it's just a big cookie. It's a pizza cookie. It's not a cookie cake. It's just a big, freshly baked cookie with ice cream on top. Uh, it's
Ooh,
yeah, it's great.
yes.
So yeah, I think that would actually be my that would be my dessert.
We have a food truck that does this.
No, it's amazing.
Yeah, so they do pizzas and then they do these pizza cakes.
Pizookies,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I
they're
didn't know
amazing.
that was the official name for it, but I can definitely appreciate it.
That's what there's like a chain place called BJ's, and that's what they're known for is Pizookies for the dessert. And like, dude, you just go there for happy hour, get a couple beers, an appetizer, and a Pizookie, and like, it's so good.
Now, we're talking about food. The
Yeah, now I'm
three
starving. By
yeah.
the way,
We'll end the pod because we're at an hour with it. But the last question we'll ask, the three main staples that you always hear about, right? You always hear about
hmm
pimento cheese, you hear about egg salad, and you hear about barbecue pork. What sandwich do you think Cam started with today, and what would be your favorite?
so we briefly talked about this the other day. Cam had mentioned a combination you could do. It's a little too crazy for me, but he suggested getting the barbecue sandwich and the pimento cheese and combining them.
I think it's
Uh,
brilliant. I love his
I,
idea.
I get it. I'm not a big pimento cheese guy, so like it's just like the texture of it and stuff. It's like all right. So I would refrain from the pimento cheese. I like a good egg salad. I wouldn't mind eating the egg salad, but like with barbecue, like you can't go wrong with barbecue pulled pork. So like I'm probably just gonna get that. It's also gonna allow me to drink the most alcoholic beverages. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna go with the barbecue pork.
I just if I had to pick between one of those and I didn't get another one, I'm pretty sure I just have to go egg salad.
Yeah,
Like
really.
that's my number one pick out of those three for some reason. I don't know. I look at it and I'm like, I just want the egg salad.
I I like egg salad. I just don't like making egg salad. So you're not wrong in just picking if somebody already made a shit ton of it and it's $1.50. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
give me 10.
I also do not think that Cam put the two together. I think he was probably he's at Augusta and he looks around and wants to do it and he just won't do it because he feels like he's like
There's
betraying the golf
probably
gods.
Yeah, there's probably people doing it. I think he might have forgotten to do it because of just how excited he probably is and everything that he wants to do and see. That the at least the first two times he went and got food, he did not think to order both of those and combine them.
True. But he's going pimento cheese. That's his first choice, I think. Taking it off the rack and that's his
Sure,
first bite of Augusta.
that's
So
it's a good first bite. It's a great first bite.
with that, I think we're at a good spot. I mean, we're ending on
I think
pimento
so too.
cheese for Masters Week. I mean, there can't be much better than that. So
We open with Jim Nance and we close with pimento cheese.
that's perfect. So Pitchmark Collective on Spotify, YouTube, now Apple Podcasts. Please give us a like. Throw some comments in there of the sandwich that you would eat first. And you guys have a wonderful Masters Week.
See you guys.